Yes.
Photo 144 to 190 indicates photos taken at Germiston Mortuary during postmortem.
Bese kuthi ithombe u144 kuyofica ke ku190 itshengisa ke ithombe ezathathwa khona ke emotuary yase Germiston ngaso isikhathi se postmortem.
Thank you. And Lieutenant Colonel Mokgoatlheng, do you confirm the correctness of all the photos that you took from photo 1 up to photo 190?
Engaba zonke ifoto ezike wazithathayo ukusuka ku photo 1 yokutsho ke ku190 uyaqinisekisa uba ngokwenene zilendlela ukazilento iboniswayo kuzo ifoto.
Ewe kunjalo mhlekazi.
So confirmed, my lord.
You mentioned that identifiable fingerprints were found on the door handle of bedroom 1. Was there any further investigation carried as far as those fingerprints were concerned?
Kuchilo ke ukuba ngaba ke kune fingerprints okanye kwakune fingerprints ezafumanekayo ke kwicango lwekamera yokuqala kanye ku bedroom 1. Ngaba lukhona khona lunye uphando olwaye laqhubekeka lwenziwa ngokumayelana nezo fingerprints ezo.
You refer to photos 136 up to 143.
Photo 136 uyofika ke ku 143.
Ewe kunjalo mhlekazi.
Yes, that is correct, my lord.
Yes, what was the outcome thereof?
Zathini iziphumo zako oko?
Udetective wazisa ama fingerprint wabantu abahlala endlini for ama eliminations.
Detective brought fingerprints of the people that are staying in the house for elimination purposes.
Yes.
Yebo.
Sawajonga ke ama fingerprint seqhathanisa nama fingerprint azisiwe la athathwe kubantu ebebesendlini ngalelo langa lexhwayelo.
We then we looked at the fingerprints, we then compared together with the fingerprints that were brought of the people that were in the house on the day of the incident. Sathathaga lawo fingerprints ayelethiwe kuthina ke kanye ke nama fingerprints la atholakala laphayana kanye nawabantu ababesendlini ngelanga lesigameko.
Yes.
Ama fingerprint lawo ke afumaneka ukuthi anqolobana noNhlanhla Khumalo.
Those fingerprints were then found to be, in other words, that of Nhlanhla Khumalo.
Yes, and who's she?
Ngubani uNhlanhla Khumalo?
Kwi-elimination report kwabhalwe uNhlanhla Khumalo.
In the elimination report, the name that was written there is that of Nhlanhla Khumalo.
Yes.
Atholakala ukuthi aka Nhlanhla Khumalo uyena ke owabhala kulo yombiko ukubhala uNhlanhla Khumalo.
Ongomnye wabantu ababekhona endlini.
Was one of the people that were in the house.
Scott, please, my lord, we're not going to burden the record by handing up this fingerprint report. My learned friends are in possession thereof. Lieutenant Colonel Mokgoatlheng, is there anything else that you wish to add?
Ngabe khona ngenye into onqwenela ukuyongeza?
Ewe mhlekazi kunjalo i-elimination report yanikwa ke umphenyi wecala.
Yes, my lord, there is. The elimination report was then handed over to the investigating officer of the case.
Ukumchazela ukuba lama fingerprint esiwafumene kwi-crime scene endiwafumene kwi-crime scene aqhathaniswe nakaNhlanhla Khumalo.
To inform the investigating officer that the fingerprints that I found on the crime scene were compared to those of Nhlanhla Khumalo.
Yes.
Yeah, ewe.
Enye into endifuna ukucacisela lenkundla ukuthi xa sigqiba ku-investigator i-crime scene iya-searchwa futhi kwakho.
What I would also like to tell the court is that When we complete our investigation, the crime scene gets searched again.
Njengokuba safumana inhloko yebullet,
Just as we found the bullet head,
saye sajonga ikhoba uba mhlambi sizawulifumana na.
we then looked for the cartridge as to whether we were going to find it.
Yes.
Ewe.
Kodwa sizange sayifumana kwindawo yoxhayelo.
But we never found it on the crime scene. Sabheka ke nanjengoba uma sesiqedile ukwenza uphenyo ke khona ke kwindawo yesigameko siye siphinde sibheke noma sisesheke kamuva sabheka ke lana sibheka ukuthi sibheka igobo nanjengoba kwatholakala ibullet head sabheka ukuthi asingeke sithole yini igobo londo kodwa ngeshwa kazange silithole.
Could the caliber of the bullet projectile determine at that stage?
I-bullet projectile leyana nakwazi ngela xesha okanye ngela lixa ukuba ngaba ke nifumanise uba yoluphi uhlobo.
Ndiyacinga umuntu ongachazela lenkundla lonto ngumuntu waseballistic mhlekazi.
I think the person that would be able to inform this court with regards to that is someone from ballistic.
Nguwo unobangela wenza ukuthi siqoqe ama exhibits esiwafumanayo siwathumele eballistic.
That is the reason why we then gather the exhibits that we found and send them to ballistic.
Then bona babe nolwazi ke lokuthi bajonge ukuthi ikaliber yenjani.
So they now have this knowledge or information as to look or check for the caliber thereof
Xa besenza uphenyo lwabo.
when they do their investigation.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Mhlahlo. Is that all?
Yeah, kuphelele apha.
Kunjalo mhlekazi.
Yes, that is so, my lord.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Thanks. Yes, on behalf of accused 1 and 2.
As it pleases the court, my lord. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Mhlekazi.
Good day, sir.
Now, your testimony is that on the 27th of October 2014, at around 8 in the morning, you were requested by Colonel Matitse to attend to a scene at 13511 Kutlano Street, Mzamo Section, Fosloras, for a shooting incident scene, correct?
Uchilo kuba wacela uMathitse uba uyeke kule ndawo ichaziweyo ngo-8 ekseni uyokwenza uphando khona. Isiganeko sodubulo esenzekayo.
Kunjalo mhlekazi.
That is indeed correct.
Now, how did Colonel Matitse inform you or activate you to go to that scene?
Ekukwaziseni kwakhe okanye ekukuceleni kwakhe uKolonel Mathize wayenza njani loo nto leyo? Okanye wakwazisa njani okanye waye wayazi njani wena bakufanele uye phaya?
Njengokuba sengitshilo mhlekazi uba uKolonel Matitse kwakuyikhomanda yami.
As I've already mentioned that Colonel Mathize was my commander.
Sisebenza eofisini A1.
We work in the same office.
Weza wazongixelela ukuthi kunendawo yexhayelo ekhona kufanele ukuthi ndambe ndiyenza.
He came to inform me that there was a crime scene that I needed to go and attend to.
And did Colonel Matitse inform you of the incident, the place where, sorry, let me rephrase. Did he inform you about the merits or a brief summary of what transpired at that scene?
Ingaba wakunika kusini na ingcukacha okanye wakushwankathelela kuba yintoni eyenzekayo phaya?
Watsho ukuba kune shooting incident mhlekazi.
He did say that there was a shooting incident. Washo ukuthi kwakunesigameko sokudubula.
Kodwa angiqondi uba i-information ephelele wayenayo ngoba xa senza i-debriefing kwi-crime scene wayekhona.
But I don't think that he had a full information because when we did the debriefing on the crime scene or at the crime scene, he was present. Kodwa ke kona ke lokho angitshela kona ke angicabanga ukuthi wayenayo yonke imininingwane ngoba nkathi sesikhuluma ke khona kwindawo yesigameko wayekade ekhona naye.
Into wayenayo kwakuyi-address yendawo yexhayelo.
The only thing that he had was the address of the incident or the crime scene. Kuphela ke awayenakho kwakuyikheli la isigameko senzeka khona.
And regarding the victim, where did you then and then know, or Colonel Matije know, who the victim was?
Mayelana nexhoba ingaba uKenneth Mathize wayesazi wangelo xesha elo uba ngubani na ixhoba.
Andizuyazi ke uba uKenneth Mathize wayeyazi uba ixhoba ngubani.
I wouldn't know as to whether he knew as to who the victim was. That's now Kenneth Mathize.
The reason I'm asking you this, ma'am, is this. Colonel Mnisi testified that it is standard procedure that in a high-profile matter, or where the personality involved is a well-known personality, that your task team or your investigation team, called a task team from the province, will be activated to go and assist in processing that scene. Do you want to comment on that?
Uthe xa ethetha uthi xa imbiza yena nguKenneth Mnisi, uwarrant officer Mnisi. Uthe xa echazela lenkundla wathi ke yinqubo yasesipoliseni okokuba ngaba xa kunesehlo esithe sabakhona kwaye umuntu okanye obandakanyekayo okanye ixhoba apho ngumuntu ongusaziwayo, iteam yenu ke i-provincial task team iye ibiziswe iye kuloo ndawo leyo.
Ewe kunjalo mhlekazi.
That is indeed so.
Okay. Now, Warrant Officer Mnisi referred to your team as a task team, and I'll do so in this court for the sake of that convenience. Who are the other members of that task team except yourself?
Ngaphandle kwakho yayingoba namanye amalungu e-task team leyo. Amagama aba basuka kwi-office leyo ye-province.
Ndandihamba noKenneth Mathize mhlekazi, kodwa wayehamba ngeyakhe imoto nami ndihamba ngeyami imoto.
I was together with Colonel Mathize, but he was traveling in his own vehicle, I was traveling in my own vehicle. Sasamba sobabili ke naye uKolonel Mathize kodwa ke ihambela ngeyakhe imoto nami ngihambela ngeyami imoto.
And your testimony is that you then arrived at the scene at around 9:10 in the morning, correct?
Uthi nafika ke phayana ngemizuzu elishumi emva kwensimbi yethoba kusasa.
Ewe kunjalo mhlekazi.
That is indeed so. Safika ke yebo ngaye u9:10 ekseni.
Now, from the police officers that were on the scene from the 26th of October, that is Warrant Officer Mnisi and Captain Zwane, who briefed you of what happened on that scene and who showed you the scene?
Kulama polisa ayesele ekhona phayana kusuku ngaphambili i26 kaOctober uMnisi kanye noZwane ngubani owaye wanichazela kanye wanikhombisa iscene leyo xana ekufikeni kwenu?
Lieutenant Zwane.
It's Lieutenant Zwane, my lord. Uyena ke uLieutenant Zwane owasikhombisa ke uma sesifika lapho indawo yesigameko.
And talk to me as well about the other police officers that you found on the scene on the morning of the 27th. Captain Mnisi spoke about Captain Matebula, Brigadier Ndlovu, and others that I forget. Can you tell me the people that you recognize, high-ranking police officers that were on the scene?
Mnisi uthethile apha ke go Brigadier Ndlovu o Captain Zwane. Akhona amanye ongawachaza wena owakhumbulayo owabonayo amapolisa phaya?
Bendiba sengitshilo mhlekazi kule nkundla uba umuntu endandisebenza naye nguLieutenant Zwane. So andizange ndathatha amagama wabanye abantu ababesesinini.
I think I've already informed this court that the person that I was working with was Lieutenant Zwane. So I did not take the names of the other people that were on the scene.
Nomnisi nguye endandisebenza naye.
Together with Mnisi, he's the person that I was working with.
uLieutenant Zwane nguye owaye manager iscene.
Lieutenant Zwane is the one who was managing the scene.
Yes, I understand that, but the question is this. Other ranking police officials that were there, were they also on the scene in the house or they were outside at a post designated for command post?
Ndiyakuva ke kodwa endikubuzayo bangaba ke amanye amapolisa ke ranking officers ngaba babe pha endlini nabo okanye babe kwenye nje indawo ngathi yindawo ke babebekelwe yona okanye ikhona indawo babengekho apha phakathi endlini.
Umuntu owayesendlini nguLieutenant Zwane owayemanager i-crime scene Mhlekazi. Yiyo lento ndithi ifocus yami yayi kuZwane ngoba nguye endandisebenza naye. Abanye uba babekhona andizange ndabaqaphela kodwa babengekho kwindawo yexhwayelo.
The person that was in the house is Zwane, and he's the person I put my focus on because he's the one that I was working with and who was managing the scene. Now, if the other people were there, I did not focus them or take note of them, and they were not on the crime scene.
And the debriefing with Captain Zwane, what exactly did he tell you about the scene when you arrived on the morning of the 27th of October 2014?
Kanye yintoni owayixelelwa okanye onayixelelwa nguZwane xana nifika ngalantsasa?
Wasichazela ukuba kuhanelwa ukuthi kube namadoda amabini angenile endlini.
He informed us that it was the suspicion was that two men had entered the house.
Bafike bagorisa ngesibhamu badubula uSenzo Meyiwa.
They came in, threatened them with the firearm and shot at Senzo Meyiwa.
Bathatha ifoni
They took a phone
and then bahamba.
and then they left.
And then uSenzo wabalekiselwe esibhedlele
Senzo was then rushed to the hospital
apho wafika wasweleka khona.
where he unfortunately passed away. Iloko ke abakutshelwa uyena uKenneth Zwane ukuthi ke insolo kwakuukuthi kwangena amadoda amabili ase esabisa ke labo ababephakathi endlini ngesibhamu kwase kudubuleka yena ke uSenzo kwaphucwa noma kwathathwa futhi ke ne-cellphone ngeshwa ke uma efika esibhedlele wabe seyashona.
Talk to me regarding the walkthrough of the scene. Who did you walk through the scene with, and how did you conduct that walkthrough?
Xana nisenza ke le uyibiza ngoba i-walkthrough wayenza kunye nabani i-walkthrough leyo?
I-walkthrough sasiyenza no-Lieutenant Zwane noMsiya.
Together with Lieutenant Zwane and Musia.
And which areas of the house did you conduct that walkthrough?
Niyenza ndawoni apha endlini.
Siqale ngaphandle egcekeni sangena ngaphakathi endlini amagumbi wonke.
We started outside on the premises and then we went into the house, all the rooms.
And at what stage, because remember, Sergeant Misia had arrived at around 00:20 on the morning of the 27th of October 2014 to process the scene. Did you then converse or discuss with him about what he had done on the scene before you proceeded to take pictures of the scene in situ?
Umsiya wayefike phayana ke nge-27. Ngaba ke ngoxana nifika nina. I'm missing here because
Let me repeat it again.
but make it short.
Yes, let me rephrase. Musia testified that he arrived on the scene at 00:20 on the morning of the 27 October 2014.
Umsiya xa bexolela lenkundla yena uthi ixesha abafika ngalo phayana yayi 12:20 ezinzulwini zobusuku nge-27 zika October 2014.
And that when he arrived, Captain Zwane was there, and the two first responding officers, i.e. Mthethwa and Matebula,
Nokuthi ke xa efika Kenneth Zwane wayekhona apho kanye futhi nalamapolisa amabini aba ngamapolisa okuqala ukufika kwindawo yexhwayelo Umthethwa kanye noMathebula.
that Captain Zwane showed him the exhibits that were already found on the scene at the time. And these are the following exhibits.
Nokuba ngaba uma ekufikeni kwakhe uZwane waye wambonisa ezo exhibits ezo zazisele zifunyenwe kakade apho zezi zilandelayo.
The walking crutch on the floor,
Kwakune ntonga induku leyo kuhamba bathi i-crutch eyayileli phansi.
a fragmented projectile on the floor on the kitchen,
Kwakunale projectile ke ikacaba ke ilimele okanye ke iqhezukile fragmented eyayiphansi
a hat,
umnqwazi.
and in the sitting room, 2 alcohol cans.
Kwakunye ke nenkonxa okanye iitoti ezimbini zotywala sitting room.
Now, my question was, did Mnisi tell you that he has already secured and even collected some of the exhibits that I've referred to before you started investigating the scene with him?
Ngaphambi kokuba ngaba ke ngoku niqalisa okanye wena uqalisa ukwenza uphando lwakho phayana kunye naye, ingaba wakunika na ezinkcukacha ndigqiba kunika zona ngokuba zikhona izinto awayesele ezifumene ezi ndigqiba kuzibala ndizikhankanya ngoku?
Kunjalo mhlekazi.
Yes, that is correct. Kuyiqiniso ukuthi uma ngifika lapho ngaphambili ukuthi ngenza uphenyo, umsiya wangitshela ukuthi kwakusekukhona ke ayesekutholile.
And did he show you the exhibits, especially the ones that he had already packaged? Because I believe the crutch was still left on the scene and the 2 big beer cans or alcoholic cans were not packaged yet.
Ingaba ke waye wakubonisa okanye wachazela ngezi wayesele ezipakishile ngoba leyo kahamba yona icrash lena kwakunye netoti ezimbini zotywala zona zazingekafakwa kwisingxobo sobungqina.
Azange wanibonisa mhlekazi, wangichazela nje basekenze ntoni. If uya back kwi presentation yam ku number 8.
Okay, sorry. He never showed me, but he had just informed me as to what it is that he had already done. And if you go back to my presentation, point number 8,
Kunalapho undibhale khona ubusajeni Msiya wanixelela ukuthi kune investigation akaseyenzile ngelanga langaphambili.
there's a point where I'm mentioning it that Sergeant Mnisi informed me about the investigation that he did the previous day.
Iyo ke lonto savumelana ukuthi yena uzawuqhubeka ngale investigation ye forensic.
Which is then why we then agreed that he was going to proceed with the forensic investigation,
Ngoba wayeseqalile ngaphambili.
because he had already started the day before.
Now, ma'am, I'm going to go on to another aspect, and I must profess at the outset that I'm so happy that you are here because I want to tap into your knowledge. You've testified that you train other field workers, crime scene field workers, regarding the duties and responsibilities on the scene, correct?
Nokhuluma nto ke novuyo ukuba ngaba ulapha ke ngoba ndifuna ukufikelela kulwazi lwakho. Uchilo nokuba ngaba ke amanye amapolisa ke asebenza lapha ngaphandle kufuneke eye kwindawo zoxhwayelo uyawaqeqesha nawo.
Ndiyayenza in service training.
Yes, I do in service training.
Now, as a veteran of the SAPS with 22 years experience and 18 years as an expert in various fields, fingerprints, criminalistic, photography, draftsperson, crime scene investigation. What are the duties of first responders when they first come to a scene, especially a shooting incident scene?
Nanjengekhwahla ke intoni umsebenzi masithi ke kumapolisa afike kuqala kulawo athi aqala afike ufumene ingxelo bafike kuqala intoni okanye umsebenzi wabo uquka ntoni intoni into ekufanele bezenzile xa ingaba bafike kuqala kwindawo yexhwayelo.
Andazi noba inkundla inibuza uba intoni endiyenzile na or intoni eyenziwe ngabantu abafika kuqala crime scene.
Uzokhumbula uye wathini ukubuzela ngoba ngaba uchilo uba ngaba uqeqesha amanye amapolisa ngokusebuzela abanye ke ngokuba anikafiki nina kodwa kukho aba baqale bafika aba uthi xa babiza zi-first responders uba uqeqesho obanika lona yintoni okanye zintoni ekufanele bezenzile ukufika njani njengabantu abaqale bafika kwindawo yexhwayelo. Akasabuzeli wena kodwa ubuzela abanye aba kuthiwa zi-first responders.
Inkundla ndiyacinga uba inganibuza kwicala le-forensic not kuma-first responders.
I think the court can then ask me as far as forensic work is concerned, but not as far as first responders. Ukuthi ke labo abaqale bafike ke kwindawo yesigameko ukuthi bona benzani ke cha ngabuzwa ngalokho kodwa ke ngabuzwa kuloko kuphathelene nomsebenzi wama forensic.
Yeah, let's leave it. Let's move on to another aspect of your testimony. It's that Captain Zwane then indicates certain points to you, and thereafter, based on those points indicated, you and Sergeant Musia proceed to process the scene, correct?
Uchilo ke ukuba ngaba kunento ezithile okanye kunendawo uKenneth Zwane awaye wakulathisa zona ukusuka apho ke ngoku kulapho niqale khona ukwenza uphando wena nomsiya.
Kunjalo.
That is correct, my lord. Uqiniseke ukuthi kamuva kokuthi ke uZwane esesikhombisile ke awasikhombisa sona ke ila asaqala khona ke ngokuphenya kanye nomsiya.
What was the condition of the crime scene like when you initially observed it? Because remember, already Musia had processed the crime scene.
I-crime scene lena ibinjani okanye isimo sayo sasinjani ngoba ke uzokhumbula uba umsiya lona ke ebesele eprocessile i-crime scene leyo.
Ndicela ukubuyisela inkundla kuma-photo wami ngoba isini ndayidocumenta ngokuthatha izithombe.
Can I refer the court back to my photos because I documented the scene by taking photos?
Iyo indlela endayifumana ngayo i-crime scene.
That is how I found the crime scene. Makinkantolo ngayibuyisela kuyithombe ke indlela engathola kungayo ke kuyithombe lezo engayithwebula.
Yes, ma'am. I do understand that you documented the scene as you went along, but amongst your duties as a photographer, when you arrive, you must take the general photo of the scene as it is before you start documenting it. Now, my question is that before documenting it, what was its condition?
Ndiyakuva ke okokuba ngaba okanye into uba wathatha ifoto. Kodwa ke xa ufika enye yezinto zenzayo kuba uthatha ifoto ngendlela ekungayo. Kodwa ke ngaphambi kokuthi udocumente ke ngohlobo utsho ngalo isimo sesine sasinjani?
Sasiyile ndlela endithathe ngayo izithombe.
It was exactly the same way as I took the pictures, sir.
Iyo lento ndibonisile ngezithombe ukuthi indlu ndiyifumene injani ngaphakathi.
Which is why I showed by taking the pictures as to how the house looked like inside.
Now, would I be correct to say, during your processing of the scene, the main focal point of the processing was the kitchen and the kitchen area?
Ndizaba ndinyanisile ke xa ndithi ke ekufikeni kwakho phayana okanye ke oyena ndawo owawugxininise kakhulu kuyo kumsebenzi wakho kulapha ekitchen kanye nalaa ndawo nje okanye i-area le yasekitchen.
Akunjalo mhlekazi.
That is not true. Akusilona ke iqiniso ukuthi ngangigxile ekitchen.
Where did the processing first start when you and Musia processed the scene?
Uqala kwenu ke kunye nomsiya uprocessa isini leyana naqala phi okanye naqala ndawoni?
Asaqala ngaphandle sangena ngaphakathi endlini.
We started outside and we then went into inside the house.
Where outside did you investigate the scene?
Phi phandle.
Sifotografe ubunjani bangaphandle besini.
We photographed the outside as to how it looked like on the outside of the scene.
Then xa sesingena ngaphakathi.
Then when we moved inside.
Xa ke seqala ngokuswapa saqala emnyango.
When we started with the swabbing, we started at the door.
Bedroom 1.
Of bedroom 1.
Now, we know from Mr. Musia's testimony that he's also a fingerprint expert and a crime scene investigation expert. Do you know those skill sets that he possesses?
Umsiya uthe uyi-fingerprint expert kanye ne-crime scene expert unolwazi loko?
Ndiyacinga uba umsiya uyithethile lonto apha ecourt mhlawumbi icourt kwakufanele ukuthi kube yiyo ebuza umsiya ngalonto mhlekazi.
I think Musia mentioned that in court, so I think the court should have asked Musia about that.
Let's move on. Now, you say amongst the areas that you searched with Musia, it was the kitchen, especially the countertops in the kitchen, correct?
Utshilo kokuba ngaba ke ezinye zendawo enaye naqoqa kuzo okanye najonga kuzo kunye nomsiya kusekitchen kwakunye futhi ke nekhabhathi okanye idoors eziya lapha ekitchen.
Naphansi mhlekazi.
Even on the floor.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the two responding officers plus Sergeant Mnisi testified that they searched the very same countertop, the floor they located that projectile that was fragmented, but when they look there towards the glass jars, they did not locate the projectile that you located in the morning.
Umsiya kanye namapolisa amabini afika qala phayana ke kwiscene leyana ubungqina babo batshilo kokuba ngaba bajonga ke nabo endlini okanye ke basearcha ke nabo endlini iprojectile le yayiphansi bayibona kodwa napha kulaa ndawo le inezajazi imbini le nafumana kuyo ke la bulleted bathi babejongile naphayana kodwa abazange bafumane nto.
Okay, ndiyavisisa.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay, I'll return to this projectile because it's very important, but let me give you also the versions of other witnesses that were in the house. If you can comment, you can, but if you can't, it's okay.
Ndizaxolela ke uba ngaba bathina bangabanye ababesendlini uba ngaba ke unako uba ungahlomla koko uzawutsho uba unako utsho.
Now, according to Mthokozi Sitwala, after being shot, the victim collapsed or laid on the floor, on the left-hand side of the couch where he was sitting, and there's a carpet there. Have you seen those pictures of the house with regard to the two carpets sitting side by side?
Carpets or couches?
I'm sorry, couches. I'm sorry, couches.
Ngokuka Mthokozi Sitwala ke ngomnye wabantu ababephakathi endlini uthi ke umfilona emveni koba ngaba wathi wadutyulwa waye ke wachwechwa ke wahubuluza ke wayolala kwindawo kwenye izindawo zivezwayo ngoku apha. Ufuna uqonda kuba ngaba wazibona na ezi couches imbili ungakaphenduli.
I know it's a very general statement, but it's not entirely correct.
Yeah, the
It's
witness
it's
never
not precise.
He never said he saw Senzo being shot. So,
Let me rephrase. Did you process the sitting room for blood?
I-sitting room leyana ingaba nayiprocessa nayo iprocessela igazi.
Kunjalo mhlekazi.
Yes, that is so, my lord.
Sorry, now on page 64, evidence is that on that couch where there's an object, a pinkish, lime greenish object, the deceased or the victim was seated there prior to the intruders entering, and after he was injured, he laid and fell on that carpet there on the floor. Did you process that area for blood?
Ubungqina ke bokuba ngaba ke wayehleli phayana ke kula couch leyana emveni kokuba ngaba ke okanye sele echaniwe ke imbumbulu waye wawela phaya kula carpet ibonayo phaya ingaba ufuna uqonda ke waye wayijonga napha okanye waprocessa phaya kula carpet usebenza ngaleya ifoto.
I think the deceased was seated on the couch on the opposite side.
yeah. You're placing the deceased on the wrong couch.
Yes, I see that, my lord. Let me withdraw that, my lord. Yeah, sorry, it's on this side because let me put it into context. There's a TV stand and there's the corner of this couch here. You observed blood droplets on the other side between the couch and the TV stand, correct?
Kune TV stand phaya bujonga phaya kula photo ne kunale couch ekoneni yala couch ngaba waye wabona kusini na igazi phakathi kwestand kunye nekona ye couch leya.
Likhona igazi endalibona mhlekazi. If sijonga ku page ku photo number 66.
Yes, there is blood which I saw. If we were to look on photo 66,
Qala ku 65 ukuyotsho ku 67.
starting from 65 up to 67.
What about 260? That one on the opposite side. 65. Now, on that side, on the right-hand side, not this one, the sofa on the right, where it is alleged that the victim collapsed there, did you conduct a search there for the blood?
Hayi kule ibonakalayo phaya kodwa kwengenye le ingabonakaliyo isofa. Ingaba ke wajonga kusini na phayana ujonga igazi.
No, kwakungekho gazi mhlekazi. So azange ndajonga gazi.
So there wasn't any blood, so I never looked for blood.
And Kaya Ngashe as well, who was a neighbor, testified that upon their return from the park searching for suspects, he entered the house through the kitchen, and on the hallway, at the entrance of the kitchen opposite bedroom 1, they found the victim laying down there.
Ukhaya ke umfana wasebumelwaneni. Uthi xa babebuya epakini beyojonga ke abahanelwa okanye abantu abo kwakuthiwa bangenile. Wangena phakathi endlini naye. Uthi ke xa ungena ekitchen apho kune passage phayana bafumana umfi eleli khona phaya.
Now, were you told about that area that it's a possible area for DNA analysis?
Ingaba waxelelwa kusini na ngaloo ndawo leyo le athi ke uthi ukhaya bambona eleli kuyo ba nayo indawo eya kwakunothi nenze uphando kuyo for DNA?
Ndandingenayo lo information mhlekazi.
I didn't have that information. Ukuthi ke ukhaya ngatshe wathini ukuthi bamthola eleli kuphi ke angizange ngikutshelwe lokho.
Now, let's go back to this projectile that you located at the countertops near the kitchen. Exactly what attracted you to those glass jars that made you look there for the projectile?
Intoni kanye le iyantsalayo eyabangela ukuba ngaba ke maniyojonga phayana okanye ujonge phaya kweza jars zimbini apho le bullet head wayifumana khona?
Bendiba ndichazele inkundla ukuthi ngokubona umonakalo osesihlalwe osemnyango sajonga uba ibullet ayiphumelanga emnyango, ayiphumelanga ngapha kwelacala. Saye sasearcha phezu kwekhabhathi, not specifically kulama glass jars.
I think I informed the court about that, that I saw the damage on the door and also looked as to whether did the bullet go out on the other side of the door. And my lord, as a result of that, we then looked around that cupboard area. We did not specifically look at the jars, but we looked there.
Ngoba kwakunezinye izinto ezaziphezu kwekhabhathi but ibullet yafumaneka emva kwama glass jars.
Because there were other items that were on top of the cupboard, but the bullet was found behind the glass jars. Ukuthi sasingonga ukuthi ke sibheke labo jeke labo kodwa ke ukuthi sabheka ukuthi inhlamvu yashaya kuphi nokubheka ukuthi ayiphumelanga yini ngale kwisicapha sase sibheka khona lapha hayi ukuthi sasibheke ojeke kwakukhona nokunyeke kodwa sabheka khona lapha.
Now, on this next question, you can comment if you have a comment. If you don't comment. Sergeant Mnisi testified that by looking at the damage to especially the bullet hole to that kitchen door and seeing that he cannot find the projectile anywhere when he searched, he assumed that the projectile may have fallen into the crevices or between the panels of that door. Can you comment on that?
Comment. Because he was clear. He says he found nothing there.
Okay, let me leave it, Malat. Let me leave it, Malat. Now, in searching for, let's talk about that corner at the glass jars. Are you allowed to remove objects in order to search a particular area for bullet evidence?
Masijonge ke kula kona apha ijazi khoyo ngaba nivumelekile kusini na okanye uvumelekile kusini na uba ngaba usiswe izinto xa ukhangela ke okanye kunento ikhangelayo?
Ewe ndivumelekile mhlekazi.
Yes, I am allowed.
And this projectile that you found, by just mere looking at it, did it have any blood stains on it, or what was its condition?
Le bullet head lena nayifumanayo okanye wayifumanayo ngokuyijonga nje ingaba yawunawo kusini na amaxhoboza egazi?
Yengenawo mhlekazi.
It
If
didn't-
sijonga ku photo number. Where's that photo?
It didn't have any. If we were to look on photo, the witness is still looking for the photo.
Photo number 127 iyabonisa ibullet indlela le efumaneke ngakhona.
Photo 127, it depicts the bullet in the manner in which it was found. Masibheka ke lesi sithombe u127 ukuthi ke kwangekho gazi lalikhona ke futhi ke indlela ke ibullet leya eyatholakala ngakhona.
And did you observe any blood stains in and around that damage at the kitchen door?
Kula ndawo yomonakalo pha kwicango oliyana lase kitchen ingaba wabona kusini na khona igazi walibona kusini na phaya?
Alikho mhlekazi.
None. Akunagazi ke ngalibona la isicapha esalimala khona.
And what about blood stains in and around the area where this projectile was allegedly found at the glass jars?
Kula ndawo ineza jazi imbini zeglass. Phaya khona akho gazi lalifumaneka pha okanye amaqhawe egazi ayifumaneka pha?
Alikho mhlekazi.
None, my lord. Nala inhlamvu ke eyatholakala khona akunagazi ke elalikhona.
My Lord, if I can have a second, I'm just about to wrap up to see if I'm not leaving anything behind. Now, there's testimony by Zandile Khumalo that when the first shot, that will be the shot that hit the kitchen floor, was fired, she suffered an injury to her ankle. Do you know if pictures of that injury on Zandile Khumalo were taken at any stage during investigations, either on the 26th or the 27th of July?
Kubungqina bakhe uZandile
October,
Khumalo.
sorry, 2014.
Kubungqina bakhe uZandile Khumalo waxelela lenkundla ukuba kwawuthi kwakutsho isithonga soqala esisabetha phansi waye wafumana ukonzakala apha kuye unyaweni okanye eqatheni. Unolwazi kusini na ukuba ngaba zikhona ifoto ezathathwayo zokonzakala kwakhe enyaweni uZandile Khumalo noma kwange-27 okanye emveni koko?
Anginalo ulwazi mhlekazi.
I have no knowledge, sir.
Now, finally, regarding the arrival of Captain Mangena on the scene, do you know what time he arrived on the scene?
Usalazi ixesha awafika ngalo uMangena pha kwisini?
Angilazi ixesha awafika ngalo kodwa mina ndandisekwindawo yeqhayelo ngelo xesha.
I don't know the time on which he arrived, but I was already on the crime scene when he arrived. Ukuthi uMangena wafika sikhatsini angikwazi kodwa wangifica sengilapho.
And his ballistic investigation, was it done in your presence or you already left?
By Mangena.
Mangena, yes.
Okay. Uphando olwenziwa nguMangena walenza ukhona okanye nikhona okanye nani wawusele umkile?
Ndandisekhona esinini mhlekazi.
I was still at the scene.
As the court pleases, my lord, those are my questions for the witness.
Thank you. Yes, for number 3, cross-examination.
Thank you, my lord. What investigation, ma'am, did Mr. Mangena do at the scene?
Loliphi uphando olwenziwa nguMangena phaya?
Inoba if angabizwa kule nkundla mhlekazi uzafika lichaze ngoba into endiyaziyo uyi-ballistic expert.
Maybe if Mangena was to be called to this court, he will be able to explain. But what I do know is that Mangena is a ballistic expert.
You were at the scene, ma'am. You could see, you could observe what Mr. Mangena did at the scene. Can you please tell the court what Mr. Mangena did at the scene? What investigation did you do at the scene?
Ngexesha ke wayesenza uphando lakhe uchazele lenkundla uba loluphi uphando awayelenza uMangena.
Uzawufika uKenneth Mangena azochaza uba wenze ntoni kwi-crime scene njengokuba ndisitsho ukuthi wayeze for i-ballistic mna ndandiye for i-forensic so nguye ozawuchazela le nkundla uba yintoni akayenzile kwi-crime scene.
Colonel Mangena will come and inform this court as to what it is that he did. As I've mentioned to the court that he was there for ballistic investigation, I was there for forensic investigation.
So you're refusing to answer this question, ma'am?
The witness has explained that she can't speak for Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. He'll come and testify, and those questions can be asked to him.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi?
As it please the court, my lord, the basis for the objection, in my view, has got no merits. This witness told us what is it that Mr. Musia did at the scene. And no, I'm talking about Mr. Musia. This witness told this court what is it that Mr. Musia did at the scene, because herself and Mr. Musia were at the scene. Mr. Mangena is arriving at the very same scene where this witness is. This witness says, no, I'm unable to attest to what Mr. Mangena did at the scene. Then Mr. Mangena will have to come testify on his own. That's the same analogy.
For the court, please, I think my learned friend, with respect, has got the wrong end of the stick. The witness testified that Warrant Officer Musia did brief her about what he has done on the scene. And that is not the same with Colonel Mangena. The court, please.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi, we can explore that angle if you want to.
Mr. Mangena, ma'am, arrives in your presence. And the reason why I'm asking this, mind you, we are a police, 18 years, forensic investigator, crime scene management, a police of 20 years experience in the service of the South African Police Services. Arrives at a scene where you are as well as a crime scene expert. Arrives another expert. You requested to explain what did that expert do at the scene. You say go and ask the other expert. Is that how it works with the police?
Indlela ekusetshenziswa ngayo esipoliseni leyo ba xa ndikubuza lo muntu ufika ukhona nawe balileke yonke iminyaka yakho othunayo esipoliseni bangaba ngengoku uphendule ngelithi hamba ubuza kuye indlela ekusetshenziswa ngayo esipoliseni.
Ndicela ucacisele le nkondla mhlekazi.
May I explain to the court, my lord?
Xa siya kwi-crime scene singamaphoyisa sibuya kuma-sections are different.
When we go to we attend to a crime scene as police, we are coming from different sections.
Omnye xa kebiziwe kwi-crime scene uzokwenza uphando lwakhe olo akalibizelwe.
When a person attends to a crime scene, goes there to do the investigation or the particular investigation that the person has been called for or to come and do.
So mna nomsiya sasikwi-crime scene for i-forensic.
Myself and Musia attended the crime scene for forensic purposes.
And then Colonel Mangena waye kwi-forensic for i-ballistic.
And Colonel Mangena was there for ballistic purposes.
Yiyo ke lonto ndithi uColonel Mangena uzawuzochazela inkundla uba wenze ntoni yena kwihlandlo lakhe le-ballistic.
And I am then informing the court that Colonel Mangena will personally come and inform this court as to what it is that he did on his side of the ballistic.
I still don't get it, ma'am, but let me try to find it. Are you then saying to this court that you did not see what Mangena did at the scene?
Ingaba uzama ukuthi awuzange ukubone awayekwenza uMangena phaya?
Mhlekazi kwi-crime scene ndandifocuse kwizinto ze-forensic. uColonel Mangena wayesenza izinto zakhe ze-ballistic.
Sir, I was focusing on my focus was on the forensic side of investigation, and Colonel Mangena, his focus was on the ballistic side of investigation.
So andingekwazi ukuqikelela kule court ukuthi uColonel Mangena wenze this and that.
I cannot guess to this court and say this is what Mangena did and that.
I'm not suggesting that you should guess as an eyewitness, but nonetheless, as an eyewitness, I thought you would be helpful to this court, but I realize that you've got problems. Did Mr. Mangena arrive with his own photograph at the scene?
Ingaba wafika nomfoti ongowakhe uMangena phaya kanye photographer eyakhe.
uMangena uyazenzela umsebenzi wakhe.
Mangena does his own job.
Uba kunyanzeleke uba athathe izithombe uyazithathela izithombe akathathelwa ndini.
If there is a need for him to take pictures, he does that by himself. I don't take pictures for him.
Simple logic question, ma'am, that even a standard sub A would understand. Did Mr. Mangena
I think my learned friend is being sarcastic. May We ask him to withdraw that part of the question.
Ma'am, simple logic
Just
question.
respect the person in the witness box.
As it please the
Please.
court, my lord. Ma'am, this is a simple question. Simple question. I'm asking you if Mr. Mangena arrived at the scene with his own photographer. I'm not asking whether you did not have to take photos for him or you are taking photos for Mr. Mangena, or what does Mr. Mangena do? That's a simple question.
Uthi ke ulula lo mbuzo awubuza akabuzanga ke ukuba ngaba ucele wena okanye ubuzile nje uba wafika nomfoti wakhe kusini na.
Njengokuba nisitsho uba uKenneth Mangena umsebenzi wakhe ngoweballistic. Kwi-ballistic wenza yonke into okufanele ukuthi ayenze. So andiyiva inkundla xa inibuza uba weza nephotograph yakhe na.
I told this court that Mangena does everything by himself, and which is ballistic related. So I don't understand when you ask me whether he brought his own photographer.
I'm going to take it, ma'am, that you are avoiding this question, but nonetheless, it's fine. You went to the scene as what?
Isin lena ukuyeni kwakho kuyo waya uyintoni okanye waya ngolphutlo yawa usiya uyintoni pha kwisini.
Ndiyintoni on which kanjani?
What do you
Ndili
mean?
police.
I was a police officer. What do you mean?
In your capacity as what? You know what I'm asking about, ma'am. In what capacity did you attend the scene?
Ngaba wawusiya uyothini okanye uyokwenza ntoni?
Ndiyonceda nge-forensic investigation.
To assist with forensic investigation.
In what way?
Ngaluphi uhlobo?
Njengoba ndiyichazile Mhlekazi. Kwi-crime scene umsiwe wayesefikile eyokwenza i-forensic investigation. Sithe xa sibizwa thina sahamba sayoqhubeka nophando obeke selenza lwe-forensic.
Just as I've already mentioned that Msia had already done the forensic investigation. So when we were called to the scene, we went there to go and proceed with the investigation that he had already started with.
So you went to the scene as a forensic investigator.
And a forensic investigator.
Kunjalo
That's
Mhlekazi.
correct.
And a photographer.
Number 40.
Kunjalo
That's
Mhlekazi.
correct.
Is there any capacity in which you attended the scene?
Okunye, khona okungokunye.
I-forensic ne-photography ne-fingerprint investigation esayenza.
We also did fingerprint investigation.
Now, on those things, on those aspects that you've just mentioned now, what was your expertise?
Kwezi zinto ke ngoku ugqiba kuzikhankanya okanye ugqiba ukuzitsho amava akho ke kanye ulwazi lwakho owawunalo ngokuphathelene nozo zinto ezo lwalusithini?
Andiva umbuzo
I
wenkundla.
don't understand your question.
We have mentioned fingerprints, we have mentioned photography, we have mentioned forensic. Now I'm asking you, of those things which you have mentioned, what exactly was your particular expertise?
Yephi eyona yona ongathi ke ewawu unolwazi kuyo okanye ke unamava kuyo kwezi uzibaleleyo i-fingerprints, i-photography, i-forensic, kodwa yephi eyona yona ungathi ke nansi mina endigxininisa kuyo okanye endinolwazi kuyo?
Criminalistic expert ne-fingerprint expert.
Criminalistic expert and fingerprint expert.
Lolu lwazi endinalolo.
That is the expertise that I have.
I did not get the first one, criminal expert
Criminalistic.
or criminalistic. What would that mean, ma'am?
Ithetha ukuthini ke le?
Uku-investigator isini ngokupheleleyo.
To investigate the scene in full.
Thank you.
Uqokelele wonke ama-exhibit owafumana esinini if akhona.
Collect all the exhibits that you find on the scene, if there are any.
Thank you, ma'am. This court has heard Actually, it's Mr. Musia who said that there were two teams from the police unit.
Sorry, before you answer that, Mr. Baloyi, I'm referring this to every council in the House. Remember, the evidence of Musia was that it took swabs, 1 up to 12.
Yes.
Were these admitted? Like, for instance, the photographs in the
No.
list of admissions?
No, no.
They're not admitted?
No, no, it's not in the list
Okay,
of
fine.
admissions.
Yes, you continue.
As it please the court, my lord. Now, Musia told this court that there were two groups of police who arrived at the scene. Number one, it was the Special Task Unit, and the second one was the Crime Scene Management Unit, if my memory serves me well.
Umsiya ke uthethe ngegroup ezimbini ke zamapolisa ezafikayo i-task team kanye futhi ne-crime scene management.
Ndiyakuva
Now,
mhlekazi.
I
which of
hear
the,
you.
now, which of the two did you belong?
Ukwephi wena kwezi zimbini?
Mna ndibuya kwi-crime scene management mhlekazi.
I'm from crime scene management, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. When you attend a scene as from the crime scene management, in a situation where we have been informed that there's been a shooting, what equipment will you take along?
Xa usuka ke ku-crime scene management uya ke kwindawo yesehlo okanye ovileyo okanye oxelelweyo uba ngaba ke kwaye kwanodubulo zeziphi izixhobo nizithathe okanye uzithathe uhambe nazo?
Kwi-crime scene management mhlekazi sisebenzisa izixhobo ezininzi zoku-investigator.
From on the side of crime scene management, we make use of different equipment in investigating.
Ndizawubalula nje ezimbalwa.
I'll just mention a few.
Siba ne-camera,
A camera,
ama-light source,
light source,
ama-cones,
cones,
ama-cones, nama-forensic exhibit bag,
forensic exhibit bags,
ama-stepping tools, stepping plates,
stepping plates,
ukhankanya nje ezimbalwa.
just to mention but a few.
Ne-metal detector siyayiphatha nayo.
We also carry metal detector.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, that is in general, not so. Now, let's concentrate specifically to the scene which you attended on the 27th. What instrument did you use?
Uyachaza nje ngokwesiqhelo ke enidla ngokodwa ke ngoxa sithetha ngale ke ngokisina nge27 zeziphi kwe owawuziphethe?
Endazisebenzisa ngama-light sources ne-camera.
Those which I made use of were the light sources as well as the camera,
Ne-measuring tape,
as well as the measuring tape
ne-cone.
and the cone.
Thank you.
Nama-exhibit bag.
As well as exhibit bags.
What are the functions of the exhibit bags?
Why?
What are the functions of exhibit bags?
Umsebenzi exhibit bags.
Kuqoqa ubungqina ubufake ebhegini obokuthe bafumaneka kwi-crime scene.
It's to collect evidence, that which has been found in the crime scene, and put it in the bag.
Am I correct, ma'am? Actually, let me not say, am I correct? Are there any exception with regard to the packaging of exhibits into the forensic bags? Are there any exceptions with regard to the packaging of exhibits that are found at the scene
Ingaba
in the
kune-
forensic bags?
kunendlela na okanye kukhona apho kuthiwa hayi ngoku kulena kwesi isimo sizokwenza nje okanye sizawukwenzelela okanye sizokwenza nje ngokhethekileyo ngendlela ekufanele kufakwe ngayo ubungqina kwezi zinqobo ezizobungqina?
Ubungqina bufakwa ngendlela ekhethekile mhlekazi.
Exhibits are placed or are packaged in a certain way
Ngendlela esiqeqeshwe ngayo.
according to how we were trained.
May you please take this court through your training on how you package exhibits?
Khayichazele ke inkundla ke ngendlela ke niye nidibaniso kanye ke nipake ubungqina ngayo.
Xa ufumana i-exhibit endaweni yeqhayelo, uyayifaka kwilento njengalapha photo number 128, uyayifaka kwi-envelope.
When you find an exhibit on a crime scene, just like on photo number 128, you place it in an envelope.
Then ube soyifaka kwi-exhibit, uvale leyo envelope ube soyifaka kwi-exhibit bag.
You then seal or you then close that envelope and place it inside an exhibit bag.
Ube soyivala leyo exhibit bag.
You seal that exhibit bag
Because xa uyifumana ivulekile.
because when you find it, it is open.
Then xa usewufake ubungqina phakathi funeke ubuvalele.
And once you've placed evidence or exhibit inside, you then seal it.
Ube sowudocumenta ke ibag leyo osile kuyo ubungqina obo.
You then document that particular bag in which the evidence or the exhibit is placed in,
Nobungqina obo bufake ngaphakathi.
as well as the exhibit that has been placed inside.
Why is it necessary, ma'am, to put a particular exhibit into an envelope before you put it in the forensic bag?
Kubaluleke ngantoni ukuthi njengohlobo kwenzeke ngalo apha kuba phambi koba ngaba uyifake kwesi sinqobo esi uqale uyifake kwi-envelope uqala?
Ukuprotecta i-integrity yobungqina ukuthi buthi xa bufika apho buya khona bufike busenjalo the way ubufumene ngakhona kwi-crime scene.
It is to protect the integrity of the exhibit that as is found on the crime scene, that when it gets to the point where it is being sent, it is still in the very same condition that it was found in,
Kungabi ne-contamination.
that there's no contamination.
Are these envelopes also provided by the Forensic Science Laboratory?
Nazo ziphuma ke kwi-forensic science laboratory i-envelopes ezi
Azifumane ke ofisini.
from the office.
But that's the point. Forensic Science Laboratory provides you with forensic exhibit bags, not so?
Iyo kanye point leyo i-forensic science laboratory ininika i-exhibit bags andithi?
Kunjalo
That's
mhlekazi.
correct?
And then why do you use, just before that? And you will agree with me that forensic exhibit bags have undergone vigorous testing, not so?
Ziyavavanywa ke i-bags ezi okanye ke izinqobo ezi zobungqina andithi kanye sine-testing eziye zidlule kuyo.
Ndiyiva ngawe leyo mhlekazi.
I'm hearing that from you, sir.
20 years and 18 years as a forensic investigator. Nonetheless, forensic exhibit bags, ma'am, they go through vigorous testing to guard against exactly what you have just told to this court, that there should be no contamination, there should be no interference with the exhibits.
Ziye ke zitestwe ke okanye zigqithe ke testing ke ezininzi ukuthintela kanye oku ugqibothetha ngako i-contamination ezo.
Mhlekazi anisebenzi ngokutesta ama-forensic bag. Njengokuba ndichazile uba xa ucollecta ama-exhibit funeke uwapackage ngendlela yokuthi xa weza ufika kwi-forensic funeke kungabi na-contamination afike esenele integrity owafumene ngayo kwi-crime scene.
Sir, it is not my duty, or I don't work in that section where they test forensic bags. Just as I explained to the court that you place the exhibits in the forensic bag to protect the integrity and the contamination, that when it gets to the point where it is being sent, it is still in the very same condition that it was found in.
Exactly, that's my point, ma'am. Who tests the very same envelope that you pick up from your office to determine that it has got no foreign objects, or it has got no foreign, I don't know how to put it, but it has got nothing in it that can contaminate the very same exhibit that you put in that envelope. Let me take it slowly, Mr. Jonas. Who tests the very same envelope that you simply pick up in one of your offices at the police station to make sure that it is contaminated, it has got nothing in it that will contaminate the very same object or exhibit that you put in it, which you so dearly want to preserve from contamination.
Kwa envelope leyo enifumana ke officeini leyo kubani ke ngoku oye ayivavanye ukwenza eso siqinisekiso esi uthetha ngaso kanye uba ngaba ke akukho liphazamiseko lwenzekayo kobu bungqina obu nifuna ke ngoku bufike apho buyakhona bukwesa simo besifumaneke ngaso.
Le envelope mhlekazi ayicholwanga nje officeini, ezi envelopes zithengelwa zona uqoqa ubungqina.
This envelope was not just picked up from somewhere in the office. These envelopes are bought exactly for that purpose to collect exhibits.
Yiyo lento sizisebenzisa kuma crime scenes.
Which is now the reason why we make use of them at crime scenes.
You say, where do we buy them, eh? Where do we buy these envelopes?
How is this going to help us resolve the issue of this case, which is the murder, alleged murder of the deceased, the alleged use of an unlicensed firearm, the alleged use of unlicensed ammunition through which a licensed firearm could operate? This witness, she tells you, she finds the exhibit bags already manufactured. Unless you want to put it to him that the ones he used, they were contaminated, fine. And then he uses them, like he has done for the past 22 years. Now we are being taken on a trip about the manufacturing of the exhibit bags. If you have any fault which you think you find concerning the exhibit bags, specifically that they were incapable of forming a frame between the exhibit and the contamination, put it to her. But she can't be expected to explain how the manufacturing of an exhibit bag occurs. She's not an expert in that. Are you? Hello? I mean in the manufacture of exhibit bags.
No, akunjalo
Do you know
mhlekazi.
how they are manufactured?
Yes, bazenziwa kanjani?
No, andazi mhlekazi.
Have you ever been in a factory where they are manufactured?
Oke waya kufika lapho zenziwa khona? No.
Right, please, let's get on this, please.
As it please the court, my lord. That's not what I'm disputing, my lord, unfortunately.
What are you disputing?
She's spoken of an envelope.
Yes,
Yes.
which you actually put it to her. It's supplied by the forensic laboratory.
No, that's not what I said to her, my lord, which is the reason why I'm probing that aspect.
Sorry, these forensic envelopes, where are they found? Where do you get them from? Okay, Bazaar, Pick and Pay, where?
Zifunyana pet envelopes
Zifumaneke officeini mhlekazi.
from the office, my lord.
Aziyathengwa yi-office.
The office buys them.
Okay, right, sir, go on.
Ma'am, are those envelopes? Well, I'm not even so sure whether I need to proceed with this point because apparently the court has already made up the mind. But nonetheless, ma'am, let us go to
It's
the
concerned with
exhibits.
relevancy. I don't make up my mind without listening to the evidence. If
it
that
was-
evidence is relevant to the crime which the accused are allegedly charged with, fine, it's relevant.
Yes, my lord. But now let me also address this court on relevance, exactly
Yes.
on the basis of what the court has
Okay,
just
fine,
said.
go
you
on.
see.
No problem.
I think I've got all the permission to probe this question in the manner in which I've been doing it, because in the charge in the indictment, it is alleged that there was a firearm that was used, and particularly that firearm is linked to one of the accused persons here through a through a bullet that was found at the scene. The packaging,
A bullet which can be contaminated, is that what you are getting at?
is possible, my lord.
Yeah, fine.
It's possible.
Because she told you that on page photo 127, she took a close-up of the pellet, the bullet, which was found behind the jars. When you asked or texted by Mr. Accused number 1 and 2's counsel,
Yes.
whether there was blood on the bullet or not.
Yes,
Fine.
my lord.
Okay, proceed.
But my lord, it does not end up there. The quest does not end up there. Remember, we have packaging, with the transportation,
Yes,
we have the receipts.
yes.
The chain must speak for itself.
Right, but now we are talking about the quality of the envelopes or the forensic bags.
Yes, my lord.
If you think they were contaminated or they were incapable of not being contaminated, you can put it to her. Because she says she's told her office. Okay.
It's fine, my lord. Ma'am, is it procedural to simply pick up an envelope from your office, take it to the scene, when you have got forensic evidence, when you have got forensic bag, find an exhibit at the scene, instead of you putting it directly into the forensic bag, and you put it into an envelope? Is that
Ngaba
procedural?
kuyinqubo kusini na esipoliseni ukuba ngaba ke uthathe nje i-envelope e-ofisini uye ke ku-crime scene endaweni yokuba uyifake ngqo kwisinqobo esi ke seyiplastiki uske uqale uyifake envelopini kuyinqubo yasesipoliseni kusini na?
Ngichazele inkundla mhlekazi ukuthi lama envelope sorry athengelwe kona umsebenzi wokucollect ama exhibit ku crime scene.
I did inform the court, my lord, that these envelopes were precisely bought for that purpose to collect exhibits from a crime scene and put them in them.
I-exhibit xa uyicollecta kwi-crime scene awuvele uyithathe uyilahlele kwi-forensic bag.
When you gather or collect an exhibit from a crime scene, you don't just take that exhibit and put it into a forensic bag.
Kufanele uyiqoqe uyipackage ngendlela right ukupreserve ubungqina bayo njengoba uyifumene kwi-crime scene.
You need to collect it in order to preserve it as found on the crime scene.
Ezi envelopes ke zisetyenziselwa loo nto.
These envelopes are then used for that purpose.
Sorry, Mr. You kindly show us the photo with the envelope. Something that I want to check. Ma'am, are you then saying that when an exhibit is found at the scene, it is irregular for that exhibit to be directly put in the forensic bag before it is put into an envelope?
Ingaba uthi asiyonqubo kusini na uba ngaba xa ufumana ubungqina kwi-crime scene uba ubuthathe ngobunjalo babo ubufake kule ngaphandle koba ubufake envelopini uthi ayondlela yokwenza leyo?
Kuxhomekeka ukuba ngobungqina obunjani obo.
It depends on the exhibit found or what kind of an exhibit it is.
I'm talking about cartridges, things that have been fired from a firearm that are found at the scene.
Ndithetha ke ngoku ngamakhoba into eziphuma kumpu.
Sisebenzisa i-envelope kwelinye ixesha sisebenzisa ama ziploc bags.
We make use of envelopes and certain on other occasions it would be block bags. Would you block?
Ziploc bags.
Oh, sorry, Ziploc bags.
Uyifake khona then ube soyifaka kwisingxobo esi esigcina ama exhibit.
You place it in them and then you place them into the forensic bags.
Back to my question, is it then irregular for a projectile, a bullet point, or even an empty cartridge that is found at a scene to be directly put in an exhibit bag before it is put into the box that you have just mentioned and or an envelope?
Endikubuza ke ngoku ingaba akuhambiselani nenkqubo okanye nomthetho wasesipoliseni na uba ngaba uyithathe xa uyifumana ngobunjalo bayo uyifake kule ungakhange uyifake kwi-envelope okanye kwi-ziploc bag?
Kwi-forensic asiyenzi loo nto mhlekazi.
We don't do that as far as forensic is concerned.
Kufanele ubungqina sibuqoqe ngokufanelekile sipreserve.
Evidence should be gathered or collected in a proper way and preserve it.
Thank you. Just before we adjourn, I realize it's just 1 o'clock. In fact, we can adjourn. We can talk a short adjournment, my lord. I'll proceed with this line after one or two.
No, fine. For my purposes, to understand, is it possible to get a forensic envelope or an envelope which you normally say you use to place exhibits in order not for them to be contaminated and to be found in the same state as they were when you pick them up and package them into that particular envelope?
Is the court asking if she can bring the envelope?
Yeah, I'm just asking. Do you have?
Ndizayoyicela i-office
I'll go and ask for the office. my
Where,
lord.
your office is where, by the way?
Keep your office in.
Ndiseprotea Glen.
I'm in Protea Glen.
Okay, fine. If it should happen that your evidence should go up to tomorrow, is it possible to bring that?
Uba unangomso usaqhubeka uzokwazi ungakwazi uza nayo.
Ndizakwazi ukuyicela
I
mhlekazi.
will be able to go and
Mr.
ask for
Baloyi, why
it.
can't we ask you through the state to bring that information?
We will arrange that.
Can you do that? Yeah, so that we know what we're talking about. Maybe we're talking about an envelope from Shisanyam. Shall we adjourn?